Minecraft's flat world option was never really intended for survival. It's just endless grass in every direction with no structures and just a single chest, in my case containing this, which you have to somehow make a survival from. It seems near impossible, but over the last 70 hours, I've turned that chest into all of this. And although that has all been streamed on YouTube, I'll link the playlist down below if you're curious, the truth is not everyone has watched each of those 70 hours, and so you might be curious as to what exactly I'm going for now. It looks like I have everything, but honestly, I have embarrassingly little. I mean, look at my hotbar. I've got fully enchanted diamond tools, except for the sword. I know, it sucks. I've got 6 of the 7 types of tree now, but I'm still lacking that last one, and even more embarrassingly, I only have 13 of the 16 colors of sheep. This is something I need to rectify, and that is why I still am going on, because there is still so much for me to achieve, and I figured I'd give you a world tour, while also telling you what I'm still striving for, because there is a lot to go, and I hope that you enjoy the first ever tour I've given of this world. I've always been so busy just on some target that I've never been able to actually show the whole thing off, and so let's get right into it, starting with, of course, my lovely house. This is honestly more of a mansion than anything. This is my absolute, luxurious estate. As you can see, I've got space for a bed, and I've got space for every other piece of furniture that I need, because honestly, the reason I have my house being so tiny, it's based on a villager house, by the way, I hope you like it, but the reason my house is so tiny is because, honestly, the only 2 things you need in a house besides a bed are a furnace and a crafting table, and there's no furnaces in this world, and I've got crafting tables all over the rest of it, and so there's no point having anything in here besides a bed and a way to see out of the world and enjoy some of the beautiful views, like this one, my absolute favorite. Speaking of my absolute favorite, yeah, this is the chest storage that I have next to my main house. I didn't think I would need much storage until I started killing mobs en masse, when I started just getting so much, like, semi-valuable stuff that I knew I shouldn't throw away. Like, I can never make a jukebox, because no diamonds, but I don't want to throw away the music discs, that seems silly, and so I have so much loot just stored away right here, and will I ever use it? Most likely not, but then also I have a barrel which is filled with Wandering Trader and other weird things that will have to go in the museum at some point. These are super valuable items that I just can't put in the world somewhere, because where would they go? Then just in front of that, I have something every single Minecraft house needs, which is a farm of every single type. We got carrots and pumpkins and wheat and potatoes, and then there's 2 beetroot plants here, and you know what, there could be a melon, you don't know that there isn't, and so yeah, every single crop type. This is my basic farm that I started with in the early game, because it's really hard to get from 2 carrot plants to 6 carrot plants, and given that potatoes and carrots only drop from zombies, it was a little bit of a challenge to get, like these, little farms going, and so I want to keep them there, even though I've replaced them with a much larger alternative. One of the great funs of Minecraft, even on a flat world, is just starting with a small farm and seeing how it slowly becomes a bigger one, and yeah, this farm also has the wonderful second benefit of being entirely farmland so that mobs don't spawn. Mobs can't spawn on partial blocks. Oh, they can spawn on this one right here. Mobs can't spawn on partial blocks, which is why I've covered the entirety of important areas in this world with dirt paths. No mobs can spawn here, and that means at night you won't find skeletons, but it also means in the day you won't find slimes, which is, if you play a super flat world, it's the bane of your existence. Next up, let's explain the giant pyramid. You should be familiar with this if you've watched either of the recaps, but just in case this is your first video and you're seeing my crazy effort super flat right now, the idea is you need a mob grinder, because without iron, you can never make a cauldron and you can't make a bucket, which you need to make drowns, which you need to, the whole process required to get villagers, and so you have to make some form of rudimentary mob grinder. Mine is made from dirt and, as you can see, oak trapdoors, but that was all I required to get some zombies that spawn up there, and then they fall down here, and it works 24 hours, and they die in 1 hit, or 2 hits from a fist, 2 hits, 1 hit from a sword. It's really, really, really cool. It's how I got all of the iron I needed for the rest of the world to begin, and this is my first ever cauldron, which I store right here, because it was a special moment when this first filled with rain, and so it's cool to see it just kind of existing still. I've also got a big slime block here, because working on that giant roof, the reason there's a pyramid on top is because I needed to stop light getting in so that their mobs would spawn down there. Because when you're working up here, by the way, every single top block is actually a slab, deliberately so that no mobs can spawn up here either, because it'd be, counterintuitive if they did. When you're working up here, you don't want to go down the main staircase, because it's scary having to go past all the mob spawning which you're trying to prevent. And so what I instead did, after building my very silly pyramid, I didn't know it would have to be this many layers wide. I thought it would just be a small pyramid at the top, and I just kind of kept building downwards until mobs would spawn correctly. But when you're working up here, it's much more fun to treat yourself to just a little bit of a bounce, just like this. Isn't that way more fun? The answer is yes, that is way more fun. So yeah, next up we have, so we've got the farm over there, which is of course super crucial for trading for emeralds with farmer villagers. My first ever villager is a farmer, and I think that's always the best go-to when you don't have access to a Fletcher. Then we've got the sugarcane farm just behind it, complete with sugarcane staircase. I really like this thing. It's so basic, it's so simple, but I just love the idea of, yeah, you can place sugarcane, and as long as you put a block on top of the sugarcane, even carpet works, you can climb on top. And I think the moss carpet is a fun use of another block right there. Then I have this. This is my slime farm-ish. I realized midway through it, I didn't really need to collect the slimes. I just wanted the slimes to die. So I took a slime chunk, I surrounded it in fences, and then I put campfires everywhere so that the slimes would die. Campfires, by the way, are how I have access to torches. There is no coal, and there's no furnaces to make charcoal, so the only way you can make light sources in this world is by obviously having campfires. Then you break it. I'll show you right now, actually. What you do is you take a campfire, you break it, and when you break the campfire, you get some, well, if you have a silk touch axe, you get a campfire. But if you break the campfire using anything else, because you didn't realize your axe was... Man, this is going to take some time. If you break the campfire with anything else, you'll get some charcoal. And charcoal, in fact, you basically convert the wood that you had into charcoal, meaning that your next recipe, which is 3 wood and 1 charcoal, turns into 4 charcoal. Basically, it's actually easier to make charcoal via campfires than it is to make them with a furnace, in my opinion. And so, yeah, that's how I have torches everywhere now. I think I try not to use them too much because they're not so authentic. They don't match the world vibe. I think campfires are a much better fit because that's the beauty of Superflat, right? You just have a world filled with weird things. Like, why are there random mangroves in this suspiciously flat ocean? Well, I made a 4-chunk area in my first attempt at making a mob spawning area, and it didn't go very well, and so I surrounded it with slabs, and I filled it in with water, making my first ever natural lake. Isn't this such a natural looking lake? All the lakes I see in real life are square, and I love that this one fits the bill. But yeah, you're probably asking now, like, okay, so that's one of your types of tree, right? Yeah, mangrove trees, very cool to get. I got them very early on in the beta, actually. I didn't even realize I was playing the beta and could get them, which is why my original mangrove trees have turned into update blocks. Why do I have update blocks in the world? The answer is because Minecraft apparently bugged out and changed the IDs for some of their mangrove roots or leaves or something, and it means if you had a tree that was built before that day, they look like this, and it says update. The reason it's called an update block is because they've updated the ID, and so you're left with this weird old, you can technically use the update block, like look at this. What should I do with it though? What should I do with this block that is called unknown, and when you place it down it looks like, oh, when you place it down, it looks like that. You can't place it down. The answer is, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Also, you can't go to sleep with it in your hand. That's weird. See, that's so strange. Why does this block exist? Surely we should have a better solution by now than this, because you can't even drop it on the ground. Look at that. I'm trying to drop it. I'm gonna throw it outside my inventory right now. Oh, that works. That's odd. The drop button doesn't work, but you can throw it. Anyway, so here is my little miniature ocean, complete with bees. The bees just ended up in boats, and I've not had the effort to remove them yet. So whenever I get a trade from a wandering trader that is just for like coral or sea pickles or something, oh, also cod, I just feel to myself like, yeah, I might as well take it and put it right here. And so I'm slowly creating a semi-realistic ocean. Very big emphasis on the word semi, and no emphasis at all on the word realistic. In fact, let's remove the word realistic and ocean and just call it a semi. There we go. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing my semi, but what I'll show you next is going to be great because this is the village. So my original villager, you can still spot him because he's got reduced trades, is this guy right over here, this farmer. He is so wonderful that the reduced cost trades, like being able to just give him 1 pumpkin and get an emerald, really great. Same with melons. He is the powerhouse of my emerald output. But yeah, basically by having 2 villagers, I've bred them together so many times that I have a whole village full of them. So more farmers, I've got weaponsmiths and blacksmiths. I got the fishers, which, if you're curious, like, so you never explained fully, how did you get the campfires? They're actually, well, not from this guy, apparently. They're actually a trade you can get, and it's a really handy trade, in my opinion. Not from him, though, apparently. But yeah, you can get campfires, and they that's one of the most useful things. That's also where I got my enchanted diamond tools from. You can trade for enchanted diamond tools if you have a smith professional, a toolsmith professional. So yeah, he will sell enchanted iron pickaxes, enchanted diamond shovels, and enchanted diamond pickaxes. The place I got my hoe from was this guy, exactly the same. Oh, not. You know, I've got a lot of villagers around here. I'm sorry I don't know who all of them are. I'm guessing it's the guy who's sitting in the composter right now, because that is how you see a smart professional right there. He's my level worker. Okay, is it you? It's definitely this guy. So let me just show you him. This is my toolsmith, and I traded for a diamond hoe and a diamond axe from him. But here's the question. This diamond hoe doesn't have enchantments, and yours does, and also it has a different name. How did you get enchantments to put on this, given that there are no enchantment tables? Because, again, not only are there no diamonds, there's no obsidian, there's no anything that you need. It's sad. If there was obsidian or lava or anything, I could go to the nether and we'd be in a very different place. But there's not, and so instead, let me explain to you that I have this, my little villager farm. This took me 2 separate 2-hour live streams, episode 31 and 32. If you want to watch me painfully just grinding away for villagers, the exact same thing you can do in a survival world, where you just keep refreshing trades until you get the ones you want. In this case, mending or unbreaking or protection 4. And so I did that over and over and over again until I have this, a little villager farm that sit there all day, every day, trading the books that I want from them. Obviously, they're super, super expensive. Like, seriously, like, besides Silk Touch, which only cost me 5, I'm really happy with that trade. Stuff like Fortune, like 11 emeralds, or like 18 emeralds, or, even worse, 19 emeralds. It costs a lot to buy enchantments, but again, to me, that's worth the pain that we go through to have these super high level enchanted tools. So yeah, you might be noticing I've gone Iron Sword. Why is it that I don't have a diamond one? There's only 2 ways to get a diamond sword in Super Flat. One is to kill a mob that happens to have a diamond sword, very rare, and then has the 8% chance of dropping it. The other one is this guy. So he's called a toolsmith, sorry, he's called a weaponsmith, the guy with the eye patch. Because he's lost an eye in battle or something. So this is my weaponsmith. Why are you trying to walk away from me? I just want to show people your trades. So as you can see, he sells enchanted iron swords at level 1, and if you can get to level 4, he sells enchanted axes, and at level 5, he'll sell an enchanted diamond sword. However, I need to sell him a lot of iron, or a lot of coal, which I can't get, or I have to buy how many iron axes? An ungodly amount. And so long story short, I haven't been able to get there yet. I need to get a lot of emeralds or a lot of iron, which brings me into my next place quite nicely. Because yeah, this is my village. It's a block lower than everything else for reasons I just felt like I had to make the village a distinct area. And I kind of like the look of it being a block lower, but it is a little bit of a pain in some places. Also, whenever I have a village raid, because to make the village safe, I put this big barrier around it, just to make sure that no mobs accidentally sneak in. Like, I'll never have a surprise zombie attack, because the entire village is pathway blocked, or lit up, or both. But then there's a gap, so even if zombies wanted to walk from my forest... By the way, do you like my dirt forest? I wanted to make a bunch of different biomes built from dirt, but I think after seeing this in the museum, the concept is kind of over. I should start using wood and colored blocks more, maybe. But yeah, if you look over here, you can see that, like, okay, even if a mob tried to get over here, unless it's a slime, which, big problem, but unless it's a slime, they have to jump over, and no Minecraft mob can jump. So just having this big gap going all the way down to bedrock, I know, mining down to bedrock is such a chore. But yeah, I did a lot of that. Over here, I used creepers, that's why it's particularly wide, and that is why this exists the way it does. Why is that villager in a boat, I hear you asking? Well, I mean, why aren't you in a boat? Why aren't you watching this video on a boat right now? That's because you don't have ambition in life, like my boy over there. Look at him. He's excited to one day reach the rank of sailor. As soon as there is a Minecraft trading position called the sailor, he's going to immediately unlock it. Or maybe he's just, I don't know, excited to go to sea, doesn't realize that this isn't an ocean. I'm not sure what he's up to, but what I do know is that, yeah, I have a cat. I didn't show you my cat, but I want to show you him. His name is Bark. And he really likes boats too. Everyone around here seems to like boats. And they end up trapped in them all day, which is good for me. It means you could fight them if you really wanted to. Might be a good idea. Anyway, speaking of things that might be a good idea, I thought an iron farm would be the smartest thing ever. And so, on the other side of my very square 64 by 64 ocean, I have myself a iron farm, which I built over... this is the first ever iron farm I built in Minecraft. Just bear in mind, I'm me. I have this attitude of I'm not just gonna do something because people tell me to do. I'm not just gonna follow a tutorial. That's not how I play Minecraft, which is, I know, ironic because I do make tutorial-like things sometimes. But that's just not how I enjoy playing the game. I think Minecraft is a game of exploration and adventure, and it's not a game of like, hey, copy the YouTube tutorial. And so what I did is I tried my best to look up a design, see the basics on how it worked. 10 villagers on one side of the beds, 10 villagers on the other side. The beds represent the center of the village, and so iron golems will always spawn in a 23 by 23 area around that center. Iron golems spawn around here, and they go to the center if, and only if, 75% or more of the villagers are employed. Because of some weird, I genuinely can't explain it to you, but for some reason, all of my villagers end up employed in the wrong side. So this is a shepherd, even though all of the looms are over there. He decided that even though he's right directly next to some cartography tables, that he would be a shepherd instead. I removed his particular loom and replaced it with another one, and he still decided he wanted to be a shepherd, and the same is happening vice versa. Like, no matter what I've done to this place to try and fix it, it seems as though these guys won't stop being cartographers, and some of those guys won't stop being the shepherds. Maybe it's worth trying to breed the villagers some more. Maybe it's worth something. I don't even know. But yeah, I want to spend some time trying it out, seeing what works. I might have to genuinely build a second iron farm using a more modern set of principles and design, because this was just a basic one, the easiest iron farm a person could make, and now I know why you shouldn't make an iron farm the easy way, apparently. And so yeah, I think it's a nice enough concept. I think it's very simple. When it works, it's super chill. I get a lot of iron, but as you can see, my iron is slowly running out, and I need a lot of it to trade, so I think this is something I'm going to have to revisit real soon. Just speaking of revisiting, here are 2 sheep and a boat. So this is my sheep farm. I want to have every single sheep color, and that way I can shear them when I want wool. However, for whatever reason, sheeps get a little bit mixed up. I guess they can, like, the baby sheep go through the fences. It causes all sorts of issues, but I need to spend some time just breeding the sheep and making sure we get the right colors and the right pens. I'm gonna take the sheep, which are incorrectly colored, and I'm going to color them to make sure they look like the right colored sheep, unless they decide they would not like that, in which case I will commit murder. Yeah, that's probably, that's entirely okay. Anyway, so, yeah, this is my sheep farm. I think it's super, super good. I like it a lot. Do you like it a lot? I've got 13 of the 16 colors. In case you're curious, why only 13 of the 16? Well, to get a lot of colors, anything past really about 12, you don't just need bone meal and lucky flower drops, etc. You need to trade for things with the wandering trader. So you need cactus greens, or you need cocoa beans, or you need brown dye and green dye. If you don't get those dyes from the wandering trader, you cannot have a green sheep, you cannot have a brown sheep, etc, etc. And so the last 3 dyes are green, light green, and cyan. But I have no access to light green, I have no access to cyan, and no access to green until I get a lucky wandering trader trade, which is also, this guy right here. Actually, wait, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Purple dye. Wait, so close. Imagine if we got cyan from him, that'd be amazing. But yeah, we can buy slime balls for far too much, or pink tulips, or, yeah, none of this has any value to us. But yeah, basically every single time the wandering trader comes in, about once every half hour or so, I want to trade, and I want to get the very best things he has to offer. This is my only way to get, for instance, Podzol. I can't make my own Podzol, as best I know. I have to buy it from him. And so, yeah, there is a certain fun to it. When I got moss blocks for the first time, I used those moss blocks to, make this whole area right here. It's super, super fun in my opinion. I love the game of Superflat because every single block that you'd usually just get by going to the place where the block comes from, in Superflat, it's actually flat. Just to clarify the difference here, this is Minecraft Bedrock, the version of the game that I think statistically a lot more people play, but maybe not you watching this video. But there is no super flat on Bedrock, there is just flat, which is why there are no structures whatsoever, which is why I have to do with just my bonus chest. And this should be impossible. I thought it's impossible for years. I kind of just started this challenge as like a see what happens, and yeah, we've gone a surprisingly far way from a see what happens. And so yeah, I guess to kind of round things up, I want to just mention the last 3 projects, which are all kind of aesthetic, but they're pretty big aesthetic ones. So first things first is just over here. This is my big dirt mansion. My big goal in this world is not only to get the missing iron sword. My big goal and my biggest aspiration really is to have every single block that is possible to be obtained. Like, I can never go to the Nether legitimately unless something changes or something strange happens, right? There's no realistic way for me to hope to go to the Nether, but I can hope to trade. Okay, so get this right. If I get a zombie villager and then I cure him using golden apples, which eventually I can get some more of, and then he happens to have the stonemason job, then I'll be able to trade for polished diorite, andesite, etc., and I'll be able to get 3 more blocks that otherwise are impossible to get. So by trading, and by doing strange things of resources and blocks, you know, like the dyes, etc., I'll be able to get myself access to hundreds of blocks. I don't know how many hundreds, it's well over 800. I want to get as many unique blocks as I can in this Minecraft world, and this is my museum where I'm going to store all of them. I also want to have as many items as possible. I also have this lovely aquarium, do you like it? And yeah, so this is my big mansion slash museum. I built the entire thing from dirt and moss. Again, this was the build that made me realize that actually, even though building a mansion from dirt sounds fun and it's like a great, it's like a fun idea for a super flat, I think whatever I build next is going to involve more than just dirt. Because again, over here, I built a mountain. Honestly, it's not a mountain, right? I built a very small terrain feature, but compared to the rest of the world being perfectly flat, I think this looking like this is kind of nice. And yeah, the reason for this is because I wanted to have like a big surrounding area, like I like limited, so not only do I like playing with like a limited set of stuff, like starting with a bonus chest, getting everything here, it's really hard, but it's so rewarding when you do it. Give yourself limits, chain yourself. What's the word? Like the only way to know what you're like when you're unchained is to see what you're like when you're chained. If you never have a limitation, you'll never know what you're truly like without the limitations, if that makes any sense. And so yeah, maybe it doesn't make any sense to you, but it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters, because this is my world. And so yeah, I built myself a little stream that comes out here, and it goes all the way around with the goal of being like kind of the bounds of this world. Being, I can build things outside the limits, and I built all my trees on the very edge of it, but the goal is, this is the area which I'm trying to fill things with. I want to have a big circle. In fact, it's really hard to see the circle from here, so I'm gonna have to go up there real quick. So as you can see, I made a big circle around the world. I got it very slightly off, so the two sides weren't going to connect, and then I decided, let's leave a gap there, and then it looks a tiny bit more natural. But yeah, I built a giant river around this world. It took a little bit of doing, but it's one of those projects that really rounds out everything else. If you don't have a natural barrier or something in between your way, it makes you question why you haven't built everywhere, but having some form of, again, like just natural features of some form, really helps to round things out in a way that I really like. And also the fact that I built the river myself, it's something I'm at least moderately proud of. Maybe you should like it too. But yeah, so my goal is, as you can see, is to surround this river entirely with each type of tree. Oak trees to the south there. That's my little oak tree area. We're going to have savanna trees over there. We're going to have jungle trees with that little section. Then spruce trees, and then mangrove trees. And then finally, once I get them, birch trees. Because even though you might have seen all these different types of trees that I have collected, I still have not got birch trees. All I can do to get them is hope I get a trade from the Wandering Trader. Honestly, a lot of the biggest limitations I have right now are wait for a trade from the Wandering Trader, or get the trade myself via what we have to do is we have to cure zombies to get the trades that we can't make the blocks for, or we just have to go high enough up the tech tree, like with the Master Swordsman. But I really like the challenge of all of this. This is effectively proving how much you can spontaneously generate from thin air in Minecraft, and then build things from those thin air blocks. Like, for instance, I have sand. As soon as I have gravel, I can make concrete, and I can make concrete powder and concrete, and then I can have every color block in Minecraft. I have clay right now. If I use those clay, plus some of the dyes, which I can make myself, I can start making hardened clay for all the colors, as well as glazed terracotta. I can really get access to a huge amount of Minecraft, even though, as you can see, all I had at the start was just a few dark oak trees, some carrots, I think, or was it potatoes, I forget, and like a stone pickaxe, which, side note, a stone pickaxe, what are you going to do with it in this world? Even right now, there are maybe 4 blocks in this world which you would use a pickaxe on. Like, seriously, I've got a pickaxe without mending on, and it still is so full that you can barely tell that I've used it, because, yeah, you don't need a pickaxe besides for the flex. And, yeah, that's ultimately where I'm going from here on out. My big goals are to get all the wood types, all the dye types, and all the block types that I can. But my stretch goals, okay, if I'm going to enjoy this world, I might as well do them, are to make some form of other big build, like a big artificial looking build that shows that, like, yeah, I can build things here, made out of some, interesting blocks, ideally. Probably out of wood, but, like, make an interesting variety of wood. And then I'd also like to get diamond armor. Right now, I've only got iron armor. Making a diamond set is going to be so hard, and then enchanting it, etc. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, because the only way to do it is to find a villager who happens to have the armor of profession, and then to trade with him to the max buy his only diamond armor he will sell me, and then find another one and buy the rest of the diamond armor. It's going to be so hard. It's going to take a lot of curing zombie villagers. But yeah, these are my goals for the future. And right now, as to where the world is going, in case you're curious, I'm currently heading towards day 400. The last video I uploaded, because I like to do these little recaps, was at 256. The next one will probably be about 400. So if you want to see all the things that's happening in the streams, but you don't have 70 hours to just waste away. You don't have 70 hours to waste in this. What's wrong with you? Don't you want to watch Minecraft videos? But yeah, if you don't have 70 hours, you might appreciate knowing that's probably coming in the next month or two, depending on how much progress we make, which will continue tonight. That's right. Do you want to see some super flat survival? Well, tonight I'm going to be doing just a little bit more of it, and yeah, I hope that I see you there, because this is a big world, but we're still not done with the struggles, with the targets. And even though there's so many things I wish would be changed, like I wish we could find stone, I wish we could find lava, there's so many things that I would like to do differently in Superflat. But even though that's true, I think it's been fun to do what we can with the limitations that Mojang set down, which is so tight, which are so severe, but which have led us to where we are right now. Also, I've got this donkey, and he's got a chest full of gold on him. If I could smelt, just to be real here, because I have to kill so many zombies to get zombie piglins. Sorry, this is how many pigs I'm going to turn into zombie piglins to try and get gold. Because I have to kill so many of them to get their gold drops. I have so many gold swords. I wish I could smelt them down. I guess I could make now that I've got a grindstone, I could like disenchant them and get experience from it. But like I need to do something with all of this. Please give me a furnace. I hope it happens. I hope there's some finagling we can do. If there is, you better believe we're going to a crazy place. But if there's not, I hope you'll enjoy the video anyway. If you liked it, like it or something. Subscribe if you really liked it. And I'll see you in the stream later today, where we're continuing on the craziness and making as many glazed terracottas as I can. It'll be fun, and I'll see you there. Bye.